but I don't know.
You've already put so much effort into everything else. It's why do
Yeah.
extra?
Well, not only that, it's not that sort of things. That sort of thing's not my bag, baby.
Mm.
Those movies hold up.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. You just don't appreciate humor anymore.
I thought they would, but I watched them like last year, and I was like, "Oh no,
I watched
this
them
was my
last
shit."
year or year before. I think they hold up, Nick. You ready? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem,
Woo,
the
craziness, mayhem.
the Marvel podcast for the Genre Podcast Network.
Genreverse.
Genreverse. Well, I had it right last week, and you congratulated me. Maybe that was 2 weeks. Genreverse
Screwed
Podcast
it up.
Network. Listen to all of our stuff everywhere. You can watch us on YouTube and find us on lrmonline.com, where we have little posts that you just click and then click the video or whatever. Cheers. This week, Kyle is back as always.
I am. I'm
And
here.
we're here to discuss episode 7, I believe, The Retreat, of course, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Nothing fancy with the title this week, like Just Jen or something. I like when they make the title
How
look
is that
funny.
fancy?
No, I mean when they actually changed the title.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When it said like She-Hulk Attorney for Hire. It's one of the earliest ones, but yeah.
Could have almost
Start
called
us
this
off.
Just Jen.
Yeah, well, they do say that line in this one. So I'm assuming you're talking about
Yeah.
the whole circle
Well,
group.
Not just that, but the fact that they are very, very limited in amount of She-Hulk animation. It really comes through in this series, not just because of the quality, which is lacking severely even in this episode again, but it becomes clear just on the lack of amount. Like what's there is not good, and there should have been a lot more. But that's series long, not just this episode.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
I actually find the CGI definitely looks the worst when she's at the office.
That was atrocious, right?
For some reason, that's when it looks. Yeah, whenever she's in the suit is when it looks the absolute
Awful.
worst. Like she looks much better at the retreat, and maybe it's the clothing.
Not much.
I think it's the clothing when it comes to the office. The clothing
No,
is just
well,
as stiff as like old animation. It's not like animated as good as
maybe.
Pixar or even.
But her skin, her actual movement, her hair, her facial, and none of that's Tatiana's fault.
No.
You know.
And
So.
I think the reason she looks better at the retreat, just for example, is just the lighting. Whenever she's at the office, it's like bright LA light, so all the imperfections come out more. That's all I meant. I don't think they spent any more on the retreat parts. It just it looks more natural because the lighting isn't like she's being blasted with like all the light of Los Angeles, you know.
Yeah.
So this week, the retreat. She dates a guy, the guy Josh we
bad.
met from last time.
Man bad. Hey, we
Man
did get
ball.
we did get a few good guys once again with comedic effect. You know, no just regular good. Even Nick, the good guy, ended up being played for laughs, and Josh, yet another man that she had relations with, turns out to be bad. I'm just saying, horse dead, beating it.
Nah,
It's okay.
nah. Still disagree, but they're supportive dudes. Even the guy who tried to hit her with the crowbar. It almost sounds like, and that's just a minor note. It almost sounds like it's kind of like the One Ring, where like they felt corrupted by having those items. He kind of makes some line. I mean, it's not important to the show, but he made some line like that, which is like why he's like able to be, because he's the most recent offender of doing something bad out of everyone in that group, as far as we know, at the retreat. Because he literally days ago tried to attack She-Hulk, but he was probably hired by the same guy we're dealing with this episode and was teased last week. Because the whole idea was to stick her and get her blood. Which, what did you think of the episode overall? I'm assuming you didn't like it very much based on the title.
So this episode had potential. It's not as bad as the previous. What's in there is good. It's just poorly executed. the they literally should have, and I don't even think there's really any big spoilers here. So there's nothing really to spoil in this episode. So yeah, that's the big spoilers is she gets ghosted again. But what the problem was how it was executed. This is again She-Hulk attorney at law. They could have had Man Bull and Alejandro. I can't remember his hero name, but
Alejandro.
They could have had those two involved in some sort of case that she gets involved with. The firm brings in Blonsky as no, it's with an N, Blonsky.
Yeah, I think.
Brings him in with as the consulting, the counselor, the get in touch with your feelings guy, and through working with these two on their case and Jen, she gets to come to the same thing as he helps her out as he did in this at his retreat. Why couldn't all that have happened around her life and job? Like,
they shouldn't have done that title. I think going back to it, I think it just should have been She-Hulk, because you're too fixated on that, and you're too fixated on wanting Harvey Birdman. It's like, this isn't Harvey Birdman. It's not going to be.
But that's what they build it as, and they haven't delivered on it. So they could have done something completely different and stuck with its lawyer feel, and they didn't. And I don't care. I don't even really want to get angry anymore. Even what's half decent is still disappointing. So
I don't know. Yeah. This episode actually makes me like the last one better. Not because this one was worse, because I began to enjoy, like, just get rid of the attorney at law point. It's like a slice of life show. This episode, she dates, she gets ghosted, she has to go visit Emil Blonsky. And then she ends up being part of his hippy dippy retreat with like other. I assume they're all real superheroes. Like last week, Mr. Invincible or Mr.
Immortal.
Mr. Immortal. And I kind of like how Marvel, I think I said this last week, is using this opportunity to just be like, hey, here's some characters you don't give a shit about, and we're never going to use in a real way. Because I assume they're all real characters, like except for just the guy who beat him. I didn't look it up this week because I didn't even catch half their names. Well, there's Porcupine, got this guy who thinks he's a vampire, which are like, ooh, Blade. Like, we're getting vampires mentioned more and
Blade,
more.
Which has been most likely delayed and just lost its director. And the delay thing is just assumptions. People, that's not news.
Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoyed.
Is this another A, Nick?
No, I don't know. I feel, it definitely feels like a comedy. I mean, it is a comedy show, but I like the idea that there is an overarching thing going in the background. But as we've said before, this is the most episodic thing Marvel has put out.
Yeah, I don't mind episodic. They just needed to do it better, but
no, it's not generally my type of humor. Like, I like the really like Sunny, like, everyone's terrible, or like BoJack, everyone's depressed, like the edgy shit, I guess.
You don't watch edgy, but that's okay.
Well, edgy American humor.
There you go. Sure.
Not edgy
North American
anime,
edginess.
Not edgy.
Not even anime. I'm not even. There's other Western.
I watch
stuff
edgy
that's
UK
edgier,
shows,
but it's okay.
It's just there are more limits here, I guess. But not literally, but culturally. But yeah. So I don't usually watch this. I guess you would say nice of a comedy, as far as it's not gross out. It's not we're calling each other bitches and stuff all the time like Sunny. But overall, I do enjoy the humor, and I think that's really what it comes down to, is once you get over the fact that it's not like the other shows, it is just like a week to week, like, oh, last week's the wedding, this week is the retreat. It's linked together. Last week really had nothing to do with her being the Hulk, but like this week's was like, she has the reason she goes there is a Hulk storyline. But then then she just at a retreat with F- level superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was some potential here. It feels wasted. It feels disappointing, and it makes me wonder again, why even bother with the Wrecking Crew? It makes me concerned about the Hood and Ironheart. I don't even know if they'll actually be connected, but
I think
they were in the comics. So I don't know, man. I'm ready for this to be over with. Find out how this hands off whatever story for her in the future. Just to get it over with. I am hearing positive things about Werewolf by Night.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I am cautiously, and I mean even more cautiously optimistic than I was with Andor, about Werewolf by Night. But I'm hopeful. I used to watch Monster Vision late at night on Sci-Fi, you know. So I like corny stuff like that when it's meant to be, and I still don't know how I'm gonna feel with it looking at it as part of the MCU though, because that's one of the issues with She-Hulk is it just, and it's not the fourth wall breaking. It's not that it's funny, because I loved Ragnarok, I loved the Guardians movies, and I like Deadpool. It's instead of, you know, Deadpool has all of the craziness, the crazy humor, and the fourth wall breaking,
and it's not MCU
but
yet.
And it's not MCU yet, but you wouldn't have, I know we didn't get any like legit courtroom scenes, but you know that if you got a courtroom scene, you wouldn't have a judge just letting some elf pop around. You know, it wouldn't be on that level. The world still has a grounded effect on it. Some of the silliness is on that character, and I think some of that is what has really, really bugged me in this show, is just how much in her show the rest of the world is just as goofy. Does that make sense? Like, that's what I don't like about it fitting in the MCU, is this is the same universe that gave us the Sokovia Accord, so we know that shit is taken seriously, and I'm down with all the humor. Again, I loved Ragnarok. I laughed a lot at Love and Thunder, even though I think that they went totally in the wrong direction with it. There was still plenty to laugh at. It was just disappointing because it could have been more, and it wasn't. I like to laugh. I don't think it's right to have that much goofiness in the real world, in the legal system, and it, you know, all the goofiness around her in her workplace, not in the courtroom, but like in the office, or the goofiness at home, the goofiness with her parents, all of that, sure, but man, like the lawyers, the way they behave with their clients, you know, look, it's magic, and the lawyer himself is pulling stuff, that within the MCU, just, it doesn't rub right, and it makes me concerned about what else they're gonna do with with like Daredevil Born Again. It makes me not that it would be this funny, but just the potential lightening of the MCU even more than it already was, because again, Guardians, love it, you know. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
Kyle,
we'll see
same
how it turns
reaction
out.
as normal about. I do have some questions about the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think it was a glitch, or did he go Abomination? Even if it wasn't in a negative way, like, did he do it even as part of the retreat?
I think there's something
really coy about it, where he's like, electrical fence, chicken.
I think there's something. I think there's something there. I actually kept thinking maybe he was even in on with that crew, and I was like, I think I told Christine, I was like, Josh either took blood, or while she's at this retreat, they're gonna get blood from her. That's kind of how I was feeling, and then sure enough, Josh got the blood. He's the Hulk King, which is really weird because there's a Hulkling character, and I always want to say Hulkling talking about Hulk King, but I think there's something up with it. I just don't know if it's necessarily good or bad. Like you said, he could have, you know, either done it on accident, or he's trying to do something positive. Mm-hmm. But I do think he did go Abomination.
Yeah. That was my thought. And also, especially, I don't know, I still find it a little suspicious that the guy who attacked her days before is there with Blonsky. Mm-hmm. And it actually gave me a thought. I'm like, wouldn't his blood be just as valuable? Unless, like, they're really... or is his less stable or something? Because they could go take blood from him at any time, this organization, if he's not hulking out.
I mean, his is different, though. It's super soldier serum.
Well, that's what Bruce's is, too. in the MCU.
But Bruce got he's
gamma
he's trying to create something, but it was the gamma radiation mixed with it that really did it, or whatever. However they explained it in there, but it was the gamma radiation with his DNA, and that's why they pointed out with Jen early in the episode, our genetics are different with gamma radiation.
Right. How funny would a what if be if they load I think they load gamma rays onto they have some kind of ray they're hitting Steve Rogers with, when he's in the machine. And
Vita
rays. How funny would it, what if Steve Rogers became a Hulk? And they have a 1940s Hulk just beating the crap out of them, and they have 1940s weaponry. And the whole episode is just Steve Rogers smash.
Yeah, it could be funny.
Because, there might be a connection there. I'm not sure. I felt like the previous Leon gave away immediately that Josh was not a good guy. Just the way they cut the previous Leon.
I'm just pissed off at the fact that they don't allow us to skip the recap.
Oh, you can't? I never try just to make sure.
No, they don't even give you. They don't even give you the option.
Because I don't skip recaps these days because I watch so many shows and they're usually brief like this.
It's all right.
But
what other questions? The other
question is, do you think it's too much of a cliche, or is it because I recently watched another show the exact same happened, where the perfect guy shows up and it's like dun dun dun, he's only hanging out with her because he wants to get her power or use her power? Because I'm thinking of, I just saw that, I watched the Umbrella Academy season 1 for the first time. Spoilers for a 7-year-old show. And that's the plot of the first season, is the guy who shows up was too perfect. He hangs out with, back then, Ellen Page, now Elliot Page. And dun dun dun, he's there to unlock her powers. Is that too much of a cliche, or I've just been seeing it recently? Because it goes both ways too. Star Trek, a lot of the time will do it with a woman getting close to Picard or Shatner. It's man bad, Nick.
That's
but I'm saying it works both ways depending on the show.
Yeah, and I already told you, I gave her credit for showing some of the toxic stereotypes for women. I'm just saying she keeps going back to the same well. This was twice that Jen gets intimate with someone, and the guy's a total douche. I mean, it is what it is.
And then here's my theory based on kind of what some people said on our Discord. I think it was on
link down below, guys.
Link down below. I think it was part of our public Discord. We only have a private Discord for just news, stuff we communicate. Kyle shows us the amazing numbers that you're giving us. Because I don't know, because that's where Kyle gives us all those great numbers that you guys are giving us. So but
thank you, guys.
We were, someone was expecting Hulkling, maybe Todd. I really think Todd is the person who's hiring out these people to get the blood so that he can end up being something like Hulkling. He's got the smarts. We can tell he's an intelligent guy, even though he's a weird guy. He has an obsession with the Hulk. I mean, they're all dating her because she's She-Hulk, but he seems to have a certain, he's the one who's like, well, can you do this? Can you do this? Can I break your skin with vibranium?
Yep. I said that before, and you're like, no, I just think he's nerdy.
Yeah, but then when we showed up the second time, you're like, he's more than just a one-scene character. I mean, besides the boyfriend scene, he also shows up in the office, so he shows up 3 times. So he's getting more and more suspicious, and with only 2 episodes left.
There's only 1. There's 8 episodes.
I thought it was 9 episodes here. I think it's 9.
I thought it was 8. Oh God.
Same as WandaVision.
I thought it was 8.
So we'll get some answers probably next week, and I imagine we'll get Daredevil in the final episode. I saw one of those memes where
it is 9. Crap.
It's just, I'm enjoying it. It is something I like. I actually didn't even finish Andor yesterday because I like it, but I'm also not must watch. Marvel, I'm still must watch first thing when I wake up. But again, there's not really a lot to talk about on this show compared to the other shows, because it's here's a situational, she was at a wedding, now she's at a retreat, and she's learning about herself, and we're getting a lot of humor from a character that I thought was one of the worst characters when he was in The Incredible Hulk. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. I don't even know what letter grade to give it. It was good. I like it. Either was She-Hulk was kind of I laughed. I thought it was fun, especially one of the SNL alumni was playing like the Matador guy, who was never a big SNL guy, but I finally recognized him like in the retreat. And I'm like, is there any other like is the guy behind the porcupine suit? Should I know that voice or something? Because I'm always expecting cameos, even if they're little actors like that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an SNL cameo, but you're like, oh, I've seen that comedian. Like last week, It's like, oh, I've seen that Bridezilla in one of my favorite sketch shows. She always plays a character that crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Kyle did not. She-Hulk. Expect that every week here on a Marvel Multiverse Mayhem until we move on to the next thing. Especially when we watch just I can't wait to see how excited and how much we're gonna love Morbius when it comes to a dead week, and we'll have to come on Marvel Multiverse Mayhem.
No, we'll talk about this one offline.
Okay.
You ready to wrap it up, Nick?
I think that's all. Yeah. Of course, you can find all of your wonderful podcasts from us on the the Genreverse Podcast Network. We're a YouTube channel. We're on Sounder, which then pushes it to all your favorite streaming. I always call them streaming devices, but audio podcast stations
apps.
Or apps.
Yep.
And
apps.
If you're on Apple or whatever, drop us a rating. If you're on YouTube, give us like subscribe, push the bell, thumbs up, good stuff. And of course, there are other great shows, Animeversal Reviews,
VR
Squared. I keep wanting to call it AVX, just like last week.
Oh, God.
Daily Cup of Genre Shot, Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, The Katina, and Review of the Rings. Unlike Jonesy, I remember the name because it's very simple.
Yes, and it's clever.
It's clever too, but like Jonesy's like, what's it called? It's like Review of the Rings. Return of the Review of the King. You should have done a little subtitle there. And of course, I'm at Geeky Nick Dahl on Twitter and Instagram. Kyle is at that Kyle Malone on Twitter. And get on a Discord. Talked about earlier. Hop on the Discord. Have a conversation with us. Tell us if you agree or even just what your thoughts are. Maybe it's your favorite of all time. Maybe you loathe Marvel at this point, or even want to discuss Andor or just anything else. Jump on there. If it's geeky, we're talking about it.
We got a meme room even. Come and share some memes.
The memes are fun. And with that, I guess Excelsior.
Enough said.